gentlemen, now making their way into the ring. First, from Buck Snort, Tennessee, 232 pounds, the Dirty White Boy. And from Pensacola, Florida, 246 pounds, he calls himself Mr. Perfect, Jerry Stubbs. They are the Continental Tag Team Champions. And ladies and gentlemen, the challengers, 431 pounds from the US of A, the Nightmares.
Early on, of course, steel cage match. One fall television time remaining. It will be the Nightmares moving out against the Dirty White Boy, Tony Anthony, and Jerry Stubbs. Anthony and Stubbs, of course, currently hold the Continental Tag Team Championship. The Nightmares have gone past thoughts of titles. Their thought now is, there you see the steel cage being locked. Chain surrounding it. Now the cage is being locked. Nobody in and nobody out. Bell has rung. And very quickly, in the steel cage, of course, it's like, in a sense, Texas Tornado. All four men in there at one time. And so, the Nightmares. Good snap mare. And meanwhile, Jerry Stubbs catching it. We said, of course, it is with television time remaining. And so we will have to be cutting away to commercial breaks as we move along. If that's the case, however, our camera crews will keep on rolling, and we'll bring, should the finish to the match come, should a pinfall or a submission hold happen, then we will, of course, bring that to you on instant replay. But right now, the Nightmares taking their lumps from this combination of the Dirty White Boy, Tony Anthony, and Jerry Stubbs. And it's Stubbs really punishing the Nightmare now. But it's a 50-50 battle as Nightmare 2 has Tony Anthony in trouble. Stubbs appeared that maybe he wanted to leave that steel cage. Anthony connecting with a hard right hand that puts the Nightmare back into the corner. Nobody in and nobody out. Steel cage. And wait a minute. Nightmare moving up on that top rope. Caught by Stubbs and then dropped by Tony Anthony. Texas Tornado rules here in this steel cage match. And I see that Tom Pritchard has joined me here.
Gordon, I was just back in the back here, and I wasn't too sure if you clarified the rules on this match, or if the people even knew the rules on this match. Did you realize that you had to at least pin one man? You had to get a pinfall to be able to climb out of the ring and then touch the floor. That's the only way anybody could be a winner in this match, and this is a very dangerous match, I might add.
It is indeed. Of course, those are the Nightmare rules. And this was discussed, I think, at length. Now it's Anthony trying to crawl out of there, but to no avail. And I might point out, too, that it's a Texas Tornado from the standpoint that all four men are in the ring at the same time.
Well, there's no doubt about it. All four guys in there are tough. They've been through it all. They've had some pretty fierce battles. But if you notice, let me just take you back to the beginning of this match. Did you notice by any chance who locked that cage door?
Well, of course, Scott Armstrong.
Of course, Scott Armstrong. Scott Armstrong. It's down from professional wrestling, from getting in the middle of that ring, doing battle. About the only thing it looks like he can do now is lock the cage door.
Well, the man was injured, and very frankly, wait a minute, the Nightmare now really putting it to him, the second Nightmare. He's getting set, he's climbing out of the ring. No, they've caught him. They've caught him. So he isn't able to make it out. They've got a strong hold on that foot, and he's not going to be... He's trying again. But Stubbs now hooks those tights. And now Stubbs moving up on the top with him, and now the Dirty White Boy back to the canvas.
It's going to take a lot more than that to beat Jerry Stubbs and the Dirty White Boy, but I just want to make a little point here, Gordon.
Well, now, if you're talking about Scott Armstrong again, let's face it. The man was injured. The doctors say that he cannot wrestle, so that's it.
Well, Sugar Ray Leonard was injured, too, but you saw him make a comeback. You saw him put the gloves back on against Hagler. He's going to come back, but you can see poor Scott Armstrong is content with sitting at the ring, making some announcements here and there in an intermission, because he knows he can't carry out that family dynasty of Armstrong anymore.
Well, Mr. Pritchard,
I see him week after week. I see him in town after town, sitting there shaking like a rabbit because he knows he can never step in the ring again. He's got no guts. He's got no heart. Injured or not, the man is right where he belongs, sitting down in a chair announcing, because he could never get in the ring again.
Well, Mr. Pritchard, you're entitled to your opinion, and I certainly wouldn't deny that. I would have to really disagree with the fact that Scott Armstrong is scared. He is a second-generation competitor, and I don't believe he's afraid of anybody or anything. We're going to cut away here and let the stations make a little bit of money, and then we'll be back. Should a pinfall or submission happen while we're away, we'll bring it to you in instant replay. We'll be right back. Well, neither team has been able to score a pinfall at this point in time, and so it is indeed a rugged battle. There is a pinfall. Now let's see if he's able to get out of the ring. That's the next important thing. And so the Nightmare is moving up. He's up on top. No, sir. Tony Anthony has caught him. Dirty White Boy. And dragging him back. That, of course, is the Nightmare rules. If you score a pinfall, then you've got to be able to climb out of the ring. That's the only way you can win. And thus far, there have been several pinfalls, but nobody's been able to get outside the ring. Jerry Stubbs back in action once again. The Dirty White Boy punishing the Nightmare as he's caught on those ropes. Chain link fence surrounding this ring. And the Nightmare's in trouble now, taking a hit, but count of three, and so it'll be Stubbs or Tony Anthony going to try and escape from the steel cage itself. And the Nightmare again catches him before he can get out. Now Tony Anthony trying to get out, both of them trying to get out. That would give them a victory in this match, but again, they have been blocked. They have not been able to move outside the steel cage. And that is an absolute must to win the match. He's got the sleeper hold. Tony Anthony breaks it up. If they could have gotten Stubbs unconscious with that sleeper hold, that certainly would have given them a tremendous edge to get them outside of the ring. Now, Tony Anthony moving again, catches one coming in, and the Nightmare, a mule kick on Jerry Stubbs, and he puts Stubbs back to the canvas. Stubbs in trouble, the Nightmare. Lateral press, hooks the far leg, gets the pinfall. So now it's the Nightmare's opportunity to crawl up and try and get outside that steel cage. No. Tony Anthony catching up once again. And now Jerry Stubbs has his wrapped around the legs of the Nightmare. Meanwhile, Tony Anthony Knocked to one side by the other Nightmare, and so. Now it is Stubbs, and now the Nightmare. No, sir. Tony Anthony closes in once again. And the Nightmare looks like he's... No, sir. Again, Anthony. And now it's the Nightmare back onto the canvas once again. As he came down, his foot crashed into the head of his tag team partner. And this could spell quite a difference in this match. Anthony back on his feet, delivers a hard right hand into the head of the Nightmare. And Stubbs is about to lose some dignity here. Stubbs going up on the ring ropes. The Nightmare catches him from behind. Bear hug on him, and Stubbs still trying to make it over the top. Only Anthony trying to break it up. The Nightmare hanging on, but Stubbs is almost over the top. Almost all the way over. He's got one leg coming over the top of that steel cage. And the Nightmare catches him once again. Dirty White Boy. Two forearms into the back, and now catches Jerry Stubbs, beating him back down into the ring. Nightmare hung up in the ropes now. And so the Nightmares in bad shape here. Tony Anthony and Jerry Stubbs almost in control, but one Nightmare connects with a hard right hand. He's over there trying to free his partner's leg. He has him freed, but that may have taken its toll. And so the one Nightmare may be partially out of action here, and Tony Anthony very quickly going after that already injured leg. Stubbs back into the ring once again. Count of three on that one, and so the Nightmare now. This could be it. The Nightmare going to the far side. Coming up on the, moving up on the ropes. Tony Anthony catches him a forearm across the back. Anthony catching it that way. And wait a minute. Stubbs back on his feet. And so he's got the Nightmare hanging on tenaciously, but Stubbs pulling backwards just as fiercely. The Nightmare again trying to make it to the top, but can't do it. He's back inside on the canvas itself. Stubbs driven into that steel cage. Count of three on the Nightmare, this time by Tony Anthony. And so it's Tony Anthony now who will be trying to get outside the steel cage. Remember, once he accomplishes that, it's over. He has a death grip on that foot right now. Now reaches up. Tony Anthony trying to figure a way to get away, and Jerry Stubbs smashed back into that steel cage, and that steel has finally done a number on Stubbs' head. There's no question about it. The Nightmares once again trying to get out. said, of course, in the event we do have to cut away for a commercial break or all, in the event of a pinfall, why, of course, we will bring it to you in instant replay. All right, Tony Anthony up on that. Well, we've got two of them now trying to move their way out. The Dirty White Boy trying to get out on one side, and the Nightmare on the other, and he's got his foot over the top. He's off. And he's got some problems now as Stubbs took every advantage possible. Meanwhile, the Nightmare trying to stop Tony Anthony from getting out. Both of them up there on the... and we are going to have to break away here for just a moment. We will break away, and we'll be right back as the action continues in this steel cage match. As you can see, all four men are still in the ring, but it is Tony Anthony who is just brought back into the squared circle by the Nightmare. And time is rapidly running down on this steel cage match under Nightmare rules. I might just point out while we have an opportunity that you're going to be seeing next week Yuri and Vladimir Goryenkov, the Russian team, and between the two of them weigh about 700 pounds. Also, Wildcat Wendell Cooley, you'll be seeing Buddy Landell against Cooley for the Continental title. World's Strongest Man, Doug Furnace, will be here. You'll also be seeing the legend himself, Mr. Wrestling 2. And some highlights from Shake, Wrestle, and Roll. But right now, let's stay with the action here as the Nightmares and Jerry Stubbs and the Dirty White Boy continue to battle it out in this steel cage. Many attempts have been made, and he's got the sleeper hold. He's got the sleeper hold on Stubbs. As we said, of course, time is rapidly running down. Be sure and join us again next week here on Continental Championship Wrestling. Once again, a special welcome to TV 54 in Huntsville. And let's stay with the action, even though the time is gone. Let's stay with the action. And, well, we're just totally out of time. Until next week, then, Gordon Soley saying so long for Continental Championship Wrestling.